I know that ain't who I think it is.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
My man.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Why they gotta say it like short? You know they can't play on my court.
But you will not feel the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, lady, and you give us nothing. Now the war is going to be here, but we're going to be free. Now you kill you want to, but we kill too.
Come together right now over me.
Had to wait for that last drop. I don't like coming in when that bass hits. It just kind of gives kind of a train wreck type of a sound, and I don't need that today. I've had enough train wrecks today to last me a lifetime. I've had enough train wrecks in my lifetime for 10 lifetimes. So we do not need any more train wrecks today. But good afternoon, family. Anybody that's going to check this live out, check this replay out, just know it's hump day. and I always anticipate some humps on hump day. It is what it is. But what I want to do today is I want to clarify a few things and reiterate a few things, and we'll keep it moving. I think we're anticipating some storms or something coming towards our way. So hopefully I can get this off. We don't go dark, get it in, get it out. But I do want to acknowledge, appreciate you, Free. I do want to acknowledge that this animal has been caught in the city of Detroit. The individual who raped an 80-year-old, I heard she was 82 actually. Haven't clarified that, but I know she was at least 80. But I had heard yesterday that she might actually be 82. But they also have found out that he possibly raped a 64-year-old within the last week. So after he did what he did to the 80-year-old, he went out and raped a 64-year-old possibly. Because I think that's really how they got on his tail. They didn't have a real hot lead until the 64-year-old got assaulted. And you didn't even hear that in the news. But maybe that was because they didn't want to spook him. They didn't want him to flee the area. And when they found the fool, he was in a car with no clothes on in Rouge Park in the city. So much respect to DPD. I don't say that a lot. I don't say that about a lot of police departments, but much respect to DPD for catching this animal. He needed to get got. And my sentiments are exactly what Brother Zeke's were when they caught him, and then they interviewed Brother Zeke from New Era Detroit on TV last night. He said, I wish we would have got him before the cops did. And that's what I really wanted. I really wanted the streets to get him before they put the bracelets on him. I wanted him to get got before he got caught. But understanding he's where he's at, and hopefully he never sees the light of day again. I'm just really trying to find my way around when I deal with people that have assaulted people. Murder is one thing, and there's no flex with that either, but we're talking about these individuals that are out here assaulting elderly women, elderly men, young children, boys and girls, and they can make plea deals. I got a problem with that. I got a problem with the judicial system that allows them to actually make a plea deal. Once you assault someone, once you steal someone's sexual innocence, you should not be allowed to make any type of deal. That's just that. So hopefully they lose his file in there, and he's in there for a couple extra days before they know exactly where he's at. And the gentleman in the jail can have a meeting with them. They need to have a committee meeting in Wayne County before he actually goes to court. And then maybe we can get some early justice before they allow him to make a plea deal. Yeah, it's disgusting, Free. And like I said, the judicial system has set it up in a way where killers and rapists and anybody that's out here attacking people, that allows them to get a plea deal. And I don't think there should ever be any deal put on the table for anybody that does any type of aggravated harm to someone. You should not be able to make a deal at all. You made your deal when you did your deed. That's the way I see it. So it is hump day, and there's just so much out here. We're just going to tap on a couple things today. A brother put me up on something, a speech from Dr. Martin Luther King called the Drum Major Instinct. And it's a hell of a speech. Should I say hell of a when I'm talking about Dr. King? But anyway, it's a hell of a speech. And I listened to it probably now about 3-4 times. And it suits so much that's out here. The drum major instinct just suits so much of what's out here. People's desire to be recognized or to get recognition, to get pats on the back. You know, everybody has a certain level of narcissism to them. Yes, they want to be saluted for the things that they do, but some people don't do anything and they still want to be saluted. And if anybody knows anything about a drum major is out front. A drum major is in front of the band. They have been selected to be the leader, so to speak. But some people have drum major impulses where they just want to be out front just because. Just because. They don't really have a real reason to be out front, but they want to be out front. They want to be heard. They want to be heard. They want to be seen. And really, that's what floats their boat. It doesn't matter whether anything really gets done around them or with them or through them. They just want to be seen. They just want to be heard. He didn't look familiar to me. I saw him being reminiscent to a former famous basketball player, but that was about it. But he doesn't look reminiscent to anybody. His name is Kenneth Davis, and I'm not going to utter his name anymore. Fuck him. I ain't gonna say fuck his mammy or his daddy, because his mammy and his daddy didn't have nothing to do with it. They probably wanted to raise Kenneth to be a product of society, to be a credit to his race. But look how Kenneth turned out. He turned out to be a rapist of the elderly. And I don't know what other kind of cases he's got on him, but I assume that he's been inside or he's been arrested or he's got some type of sheet. You know, that's generally not what you kick off your criminal career with. And it looks like the shot that they had of him on the right was a mug shot from previously. So he looks like he's got a sheet. I hope he gets a sheet. I hope they gets a sheet that's twisted up and they fit him for court with a necktie. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I need. So, you know, we just need to come together on that.
Come together right now over me.
Told you I was going to get that drop in there. I told you I was going to get it. I had to get it. Classic Beatles song. And although I don't really listen to too many of the Beatles songs, unless I'm in a mood right now, I don't listen to too much stuff that kind of reminds me of people that are out of my life. And for some reason, the Beatles always reminds me of my siblings, my twin brothers, and I don't have any connection to them. And I try to stay away from John Lennon and Paul McCartney tunes just because it reminds me of them and my upbringing. So just a little personal tidbit there. But yes, he is behind sheet. He's behind sheet. He is behind bars. And, you know, we want him to stay behind bars. I'm hoping that he never, ever, ever gets out, you know. And then maybe one day we just hear that all the fellas, you know, in the jail just surround him, you know, and
Y'all want to see a dead body?
I mean, and maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Because that's really not a bad thing to hear about Kenneth.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
I wouldn't mind it at all. So, yeah, he's gone. But to keep up with the news in the village, this individual has not been caught. Ypsilanti police seek suspect linked to sexually assaulting child. Victim said that the suspect has tattoo of cross on his upper left arm with wording referencing God. I haven't gotten any updates on this, so I assume that this is the only composite that they have. They've not gotten anything new or figured out if this is a predator that's already in the system. But this happened right here in the area that I'm at. And hopefully he can get got soon too. They've got a slight description here and a slight description of a tattoo that he has on his arm. But I have not heard about him being taken off the streets one way or another. So hopefully that happens soon. because people like this don't stop. He assaulted a child, just like that other one didn't stop. He assaulted an elderly woman, and within a week, they got him for another one. That's how they got hot on him. This one here, if he doesn't get caught, he's going to assault another child. Brother Tyrone, what's good with you today? He's going to assault another child. Okay, so you say you can't get anything from YPD. Well, that means they probably don't have anything. If you can't get anything, they probably don't have anything. And if he is locked up and they haven't alerted the public, shame on YPD, shame on WCSO, shame on MSP for keeping the community in fear. So hopefully this is a situation we'll be talking about this asshole sometime soon, the same way we talked about this asshole. Because that's as high as I can edify them to be. They assholes. You might not like it. I get it. I totally understand it. But when you do things what they're doing out here, you can't get nothing else from me. You just an asshole. These are people that are minding their own business, living their own lives, and you come steal their innocence from them. You are indeed an asshole. Case closed. Speaking of assholes. Yeah, speaking of assholes. Jill Biden decided to put her nose in some business that I don't know why she chose to put her nose in. And I was tripped out by it. And I want to actually share the screen. Let me see if I can get this up here. Share this screen because I just don't understand why people like this continue to be a part of our existence. So disrespectful. I mean, so disrespectful. And she thinks what she did here was something for the country, to bring the country together. And this is what happens when you get these out-of-date, antiquated, archaic individuals in positions that they shouldn't be in. And the fact that she is not actually in a position, but her husband is, she gets to ride along and she gets all of the benefits that he gets. And she went to this women's championship game Sunday. And she could have just left if she wasn't just going to exclusively congratulate LSU, then possibly go on over and congratulate the runner-up privately. She had to make a statement like this, which to me, I felt was just so disrespectful. So disrespectful. So understanding where we are with this, she comes out and says that the Iowa basketball team, the team that actually lost the game, should also get a chance to come to the White House along with the championship team. Now, from what I know, and I did a little bit of research on this, teams have been going to the White House, I believe, since like 1869, something like that. The first sports team, I believe, went to the White House in like 1869. I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if they've done it every year with every team. You know, I'm sure it's taken some doing, but if you win the national championship or the world championship, you tend to get to the White House now. It's a thing. It's a ceremony. But I've never, ever heard of the losers going to the White House. And it's what she said, and now they're trying to roll it back like she was just joking. No, she wasn't just joking. So I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So we hope LSU will come. But You know, I'm going to tell Joe, I think Iowa should come too because they played such a great game. Really? You think Iowa should come to the White House after they got their ass beat by 17 points? That's not a great game. And I'm not sure exactly who's putting Jill Biden and Kamala Harris or any of these women that are in politics up on sports, but this is the second gaffe. Kamala just did this at Howard. When she went to Howard and went in their locker room after they got beat by damn near 40 points, talking about y'all played such a great game. Y'all played so hard. It was so good. It was so close. They got beat by almost 40 points. And them little boys didn't want to see her or anybody else. They got pasted. When you get beat by 40 points, you've been ran over. You've been ran over when you get beat by 40 points. And she came in that locker room acting as if it was a close game and they lost in a last-second shot. Excuse me one moment. Excuse me one moment. Sorry for that brief pause. But as I was saying, Kamala Harris did this prior to Jill Biden doing this, talking about how great of a game that a loser had. And I know she only did it for the cameras. I know Kamala only did it for the cameras, just like Jill only did this for the press. And to know that we are where we are in this country right now, I know that what they're thinking they're doing is bringing the country together in these situations where they've created more division than anything. Kamala, not so much, but this right here had blatant black versus white written all over it, no matter how anybody wanted to look at it. And I don't even think the girls looked at it like that were playing the game. But that's what's perpetuated when you're saying you got the black team that wins, the white team loses, and then all of a sudden now you want to invite the white team to the White House, even though they lost, because they played such a great game, even though they got beat by 17 points and the game wasn't even really that close. But that's what they put out there. And now they want to come back and say that it was just a joke. It wasn't a joke. She was serious. Because if there had been a different response about it in the media, if there had been a different response about it with the players, they would have made it happen. My question is, had LSU lost and Iowa won, would she have said the same thing? Would she have said the LSU team should also come? I don't think so. I just don't believe so. Brother Michael, good afternoon to you. Peace, love, and reparations to you. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no way that if no one said anything, if it just really fell flat in the media, they probably would have tried to work something out and had the Iowa team come to the White House. Whether it would have been simultaneously to the winners being at the White House, but it was put in such a way as if we're going to have them both come. With what you want to do? You got a basketball court. You got a basketball court at the White House. Why don't you have them play again? Then LSU would dust them off by 50 this time. See, they want to keep pitting people against one another when we already know there's issues. We already know there's division, but now you want to bring it into an athletic game that really didn't need that, because everything that's been talked about, whether about the can't see me thing, this, that, and the other, none of that is racially based. That is just sportsmanship, trash talk, high level adrenaline flowing athletics. But they want to turn it into a black and white thing, and it's not a black and white thing. It's just not. Brother Tony D, what's going on? So I was a little upset by that even being brought out, simply because for me, having been through athletics when I was younger, coaching, watching, spectating live events, I've seen trash talking, been a part of trash talking, whether I be on this playing surface, in the coach's box, on the sidelines, whatever. And it is what it is. It happens because it just happens. But my issue with all of this is it came from a person that has helped create division in our country, as well as her husband, obviously, because he's the president, and she's continuing to perpetuate that division. She shouldn't have gotten on here at all and said anything about that basketball game other than the fact she enjoyed it. For her to overstep and talk about Iowa coming in as the runner-up when not one runner-up team has ever come to the White House in any sport from any championship game or series ever in the history of White House visits, but you had to make it right now. And then she's going to throw in Title IX. Ain't nobody giving a shit about Title IX, a 51-year-old act. Did nobody say nothing about Title IX, the whole women's tournament, until she did. So she can take that back to her third grade classroom. But this type of thing is just where we are in this country. And it made me think of something else. Y'all know I go a little bit left. I go a little bit right. I never stay right in the middle on any of this shit. I never, ever do. I'm going to find what they're really trying to do here. And I don't know if y'all remember this. You probably remember this, but let me just go ahead and bring it up. Do you remember this? Do you remember this meeting at the White House? This is where there was a winner and a loser meeting the president. Do you remember this? Because I immediately thought about this. I'm like, when have they ever had a winner and the loser come to the White House and meet the president? When has this ever happened? And when I figured out that it had never happened, I immediately thought about this. This is what made me talk about this. See, I know everybody else has their whole reasoning for talking about the situation. I love the clapbacks from Angel Reese and the LSU Lady Tigers. I appreciate all of that. I applaud all of that. I want to see more of that. They need to be coming back. What they need to not do is wait for Michelle Obama to invite them to their house, because Barack don't want to see y'all. I want to see y'all. Shelley don't want to see y'all. You know, nobody wants to see them in the Obama family. All right. And I know they said they want to go to Michelle's house, but they don't want to go to Michelle. Michelle ain't making no food for y'all. Okay. Just letting y'all know now. But I went another way. And when this meeting happened, back when it happened, I thought this was actually one of the worst things, one of the worst sightings ever. When Henry Louis Gates was beat up by the police in his house for breaking in his house, for breaking in his own house, which I don't actually think he broke in. I think somebody called the police like somebody's in his house, and it was his house. And this was the police officer that did it and took him to jail and all that stuff. I mean, this is a flat out citizen. Henry Louis Gates ain't gonna hurt a fly. He ain't gonna beat up nothing but an encyclopedia. But Barack Obama invited him and the police officer to the White House so they could have a beer and they could talk it out. I'm not sure exactly what this really ever accomplished, because to me, it was basically saying it's okay to brutalize Black folks when they are rightfully in their own space as a police officer, because he should have been fired. He should have been relieved of his duties when this happened. Instead, he got an invitation to the White House after Barack Obama said that the Cambridge police acted stupidly. How you going to tell the world that they acted stupidly by apprehending someone in their own house, and then you still invite them to the White House? What type of message did Barack Obama send when he did what he did there? What type of message was sent? I know the level of disrespect that it sent Black America, saying, look, we can get beat up in our house and our assailant can get invited to the White House for beers with us. Because if he had just invited Henry, I would have been good with it. Brother Gates, you come down to the White House, let's kick it. That's one thing. But you invite his assailant to have beers, to chop it up. This is what I was thinking when I heard about Jill Biden saying that the loser should come to the White House with the winner. Because it never happens. It's never happened before, and it'll never happen. This is America. America doesn't like losers. America doesn't salute losers. America only is going to salute the winners. Since when does America salute losers? This country was conquered by violence, and they looked at it as a win, even though all of the brutalization that took place prior to it becoming a country happened. They just look at the dub. They don't look at the bodies that lay on the side of the road on the way to the dub. Why are we doing that now? And why did this have to happen when it happened? I don't think anybody's really ever asked those questions. Why did Gates come to the White House with his assailant? How does it happen? I can tell you how it happens. Because America does not respect Black Americans, American freedmen, the salt of this soil, the people who built this country for free. they don't respect us. And that's why Jill Biden said what she said about Iowa coming to the White House as the loser, along with the winners who they were sure are going to come, because the winners always come. But shout out to Angel Reese for saying, hell no, we ain't going. We ain't going. I probably think they probably are, unless Kim Mulkey makes the executive decision to not take them. It's the first championship ever. Kim Mulkey, I believe, has been there before because she's won other championships. But the LSU team is probably going to go. There's probably going to have to be some type of apology, some type of amends made. I don't know if that'll be public or private, but I can't see the LSU team and the university missing out on the opportunity to go to the White House. I get going to the White House because I probably wouldn't care who the president was, because the president is he's just the person that has an office. He got a job there too. He's the president is an institution. The office of the president is an institution, and somebody has that job. Just like I'm not going to stop going to certain restaurants because there's a certain manager at this restaurant. I'll go to the other location. But you don't not go to the White House. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for most. So you don't not go because his wife is a stupid ass bitch. I mean, I get it. She's just a stupid ass bitch.
Why they gotta say it's life short? You know they can't play on my court.
So that's what it is. No, people are scared to ask the real questions, Free. You got to understand. It costs to ask the real questions. It costs to be about the real situation. It's really easy out here to cover things, but don't ask questions. Just kind of lay back in the cut. It's easy. It's the easiest thing to do. And it's why people like myself find a lot of strife in these neck of the woods, because I tend to say things that other people aren't going to say, and then I'm looked at like I'm wrong, but people know I'm right. I just say things that other people won't say, and I'm not afraid to say things that are right. She wanted to make sure she embraced and uplifted her peeps, of course, all while sliding the U.S. Absolutely. Absolutely. I understand. Dwight's going to uplift Dwight's. Dwight's going to uplift Dwight. When one thing Dwight going to do, uplift Dwight. And in a lot of cases, black folks uplift black folks. I'd like to say most cases. Somebody had asked me if they thought Iowa could win the game. And I was like, absolutely. If they keep playing the way they're playing, I believe they could absolutely pull it off. But I looked at the talent up and down the roster, and I'm like, LSU got some dogs. They shouldn't lose, but if Iowa had everything roll the right way, which they did not, they didn't play the perfect game the way they had played perfect games prior to, and that was because LSU was just too strong. That's why they couldn't do what they wanted to do, what they needed to do. I get it. But what we're dealing with now is this is perception of what should happen, has nothing to do with the game. It now becomes a racial thing when it doesn't have to be a racial thing, because this wasn't a black basketball team against a white basketball team. It was just happened to be Iowa has predominantly white team. LSU has predominantly black team. That's just the way it happened. And so the optics of it make it look like, oh, this is some black girls against some white girls. No, it wasn't. It was two universities playing against one another. And one was just outmanned. That's it. There was just too much LSU. I mean, they both had the same amount of players. They both had the same amount of coaches. They both had head coaches. But LSU was just too strong. But to announce publicly that you think the loser should come to the White House when you've never had that happen before. All the teams that have come to the White House since Joe Biden has been president, I've never heard Jill Biden speak up and say, let's have the loser come. Not one time, not one team. Why'd she do it this time? Why'd she do it this time? LSU was just a flat out better squad, bro. And that's when I was asked the question, I think I was in the barbershop. When I was asked the question, I said, if Iowa plays the way they've been playing, they have to play the way because they can't be off. Anything that throws them off, they're done. And then LSU came out and just dumped on them. They played the perfect game. And I don't think they bought into any of the mystique, which is rightfully earned by Caitlin Clark, because she's a beast. Caitlin Clark is a beast. But a one-man team was not going to beat LSU. And they got some other dogs on Iowa. I get it. But their squad was built around Caitlin, where LSU squad, people think it's built around Reese, but the other young lady killed her in the second half. She actually outplayed Caitlin Clark in the second half, and she ain't really getting no pub. She scored more points better than Caitlin Clark, and ain't nobody talking about her. LSU was a better team. They had a better game plan, and hey, they did what they needed to do. And I love the turnaround. Just a couple years ago, they didn't even win 10 games. In a couple years, they national championships. That's the way it happened. You bring in a new coach, she brings in the right players, bam, 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 you start winning. I like the way it happened. It was beautiful. So we're going to go from there because when I saw this, when I screenshot it, I was like, you know what? I got to bring this up. Because this just made me hot. When I first saw this back when I saw it, I was just upset. I'm like, what are you trying to say here? What are you trying to say here? Joe Biden wouldn't have made such a comment nope. LSU comes up on the short end of that game. She never extends the invitation to Kim Mulkey. She don't extend the invitation to Angel Reese. She don't extend the invitation to LSU. We know this. We absolutely know this. And you also want to know what I thought about? Iowa. Iowa is a swing state. Iowa is a state that we generally see the Democrats pull off. They didn't win Iowa last time. Nope. The Democrats didn't get Iowa last time. And I'm wondering, was it a little bit of a political pandering play? I think so. I believe there was probably even a little bit more than a white supremacist play. It was political pandering as well. They're trying to get Iowa back. They're trying to get Iowa back in their side. But when they didn't get Iowa last time, that was a problem. And it made it closer than it should have been. Because when you can't bank on who you generally get, that's a problem. You got to go get them votes from somewhere else. Or you end up calling up people like Trump was doing, saying, hey, I need you to find me 11,000 votes. I need you to find them votes, dog. So, yeah. But this did not help us come together. And we need to come together.
Come together right now over me.
One of the things that I'm seeing out here a lot is the fake and the fraudulent. I'm seeing the fake and the fraudulent. And this is why the Democratic Party is just slowly sinking into the quicksand. This is one of the most recent, most ridiculous photos that is out. Kamala Harris on her tour of the continent of Africa, over there giving away all kinds of bread. They done gave Kamala a checkbook and she done went over to Africa. And now she giving money to black folks over there, but she ain't thinking about the black folks that's over here. How quickly she forgets. How quickly Kamala forgets. But I don't believe it's a situation of her forgetting anything. Kamala knows exactly what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. You know, I mean, she's just over there. The one thing that they did make her do, though, they made her put on a dress. She didn't go over there in them pantsuits because they don't play that over there. There's certain etiquette you are going to have as a lady in Africa, and they made her put a dress on. That's why I brought this one up, because you don't see Kamala in dresses. You don't see her in skirts. She always wearing them pantsuits like she's some type of dude. I don't know why women politicians do that. I don't know why they feel like they've got to dress like the men. They want to carve out their own space in politics, but they still want to dress like the dudes. Yep. I believe so, brother. I believe it was political pandering. I believe that it was strategically said after the L, but I do not believe that an invitation would have been extended to LSU had LSU come up on the short end of the scoreboard. I do not. I just do not. So it is what it is. But yeah, that was just something ridiculous that I just seen. I ain't really got a whole lot to say about Kamala in that dress. Kamala being over in Africa, Kamala giving away money to Africans. We already know that she's not going to do anything. When you ask her about what she's going to do to black folks, I know everybody thinks that I'm going to play what I normally play when we talk about black folks and Kamala Harris, but this is what she really's doing.
Slow down, everybody. No. Can I get a witness?
Yeah, that's Kamala right there. That's Kamala in a nutshell. When you think of Kamala Harris, you think of that silly ass grin that she has. You think of that, and then you think of her lack of compassion for the people that she's impersonated to get to where she is. Because now she doesn't even impersonate being a black American woman anymore. I mean, yeah, we checked her stats. We knew she wasn't American. We checked her stats. We knew she wasn't an African American. She's a Brahmin Indian Jamaican who grew up in Canada, came back, went to an HBCU, and memorized the slang, hung out with the gang, and got her bang. I mean, that's really what it was. She's never, ever really been with us. She just stayed until the grift raft took her to the promised land. She was on the grift raft, and she left black folks hanging right after she got picked up by Joe, because Joe could have picked anybody to be vice president, but they told him that he needed to pick a black woman. They pushed Joe into picking a black woman. And I'm not saying that his other candidate possibilities were any better, but she was the worst of all. She wasn't going to do nothing for us. She had already told us she wasn't going to do nothing for us. So for Joe to give her a chance, it just made it seem like, okay, they know what this is about. They know what they're doing here. And I'm good with it at this point, because it's not going to change until we just start not voting for these people. These are not our politicians. These are their politicians. POCs, BIPOCs, minorities, immigrants, hell, illegals. It's crazy to know that illegals actually have more shit popping in this country right now than Black Americans. It's real. It's real. Illegals have more access to resources than Black Americans right now. An illegal can walk into a hospital and get medical treatment faster than a Black American could that does not have benefits. They getting pushed right to the front of the line. The illegal ain't got no benefits because they're not supposed to be here. But I bet you they get checked out. I bet you they get checked out. Yeah, they imposters. They imposters for real. And they've literally just memorized everything that they've needed to memorize. And we are where we are. We are where we are with them. So, yeah. See, and that's why I put aside to what she says when she wasn't just going to do something just for Black people. How come nobody's ever checked her on her lies, man? Kamala lies horribly. I mean, she actually is a good liar, but she lies at a horrible level. She really does. And it's just, we buy into that? Really? Seriously? How do we do that? Yeah. Yeah. They break a law by coming over here. That's breaking a law. You can't break into somebody's country. You can't just leave your own country. They look, they're habitual criminals by the time they get over here, and they put them up in a 3-star hotel, give them food, resources, put their kids in school, and say, what kind of work can you do? This is ridiculous. So, the one thing that I did want to salute too, I got off into the Jill Biden thing and I got a little sidetracked, but I wanted to salute Jordan, what's his name? Jordan Hawkins. This brother played for the boys who won the championship. Jordan Hawkins played for UConn. They won the championship. And we know who Angel Reese is for LSU. They are cousins. And they used to play together back in the day. And he says she used to cook him on the court. She was probably taller than he was back in the day when they was little. And he says she used to cook him on the court. So they're cousins. And what's the likelihood of two cousins winning the championship in 2 successive nights? I thought that was deep. Thought that was real deep. Both from Baltimore, and they've got something that, you know, will last a lifetime of memories, and then they win the championships on the same weekends together. That's crazy. You know, I don't know what type of pro prospect he is. I'm sure Angel Reese is going to the WNBA. I don't know what Jordan Hawkins is as a player, but that's awesome that they were both able to win the championship in the same year after growing up together like that. I thought that was pretty nice. So, man, I saw this earlier. This is crazy. I can't wait to hear how this unfolds. The guy who created the Cash App. Everybody know Cash App. And he used to work for Square, but he created Cash App, got stabbed. And it's something weird. It's something weird, you know, because it was like 2:35 in the morning or something, they said. I don't know what he's doing out at 2:35 in the morning. That's his business. But to get stabbed, I mean, ain't this guy worth like a ridiculous amount of money? Maybe a billionaire. I don't know if he's a billionaire or not. I'm sure he's up there. He's up there in the hundreds of millions if he's not a billionaire. What's he doing just walking around to where he could get stabbed in the middle of the night? Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Let's put that back up there on Nate picture, and we'll come back to the deceased in a moment. Absolutely. They deserve it, man. They deserve it. So this right here, though, is just crazy to me. Stabbed in the middle of the night. This guy is worth a ridiculous amount of money, y'all. And it just lets you know you can be touched at any point, I guess. And say tomorrow is not promised. I mean, even to people like this, I don't know if he had security, if he was supposed to have security. I don't know why he was out in the middle of the night. But to be stabbed, you would think, you know, your risks are lowered. But I don't know. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm gonna get ready to close this out. I had a situation come up. Hold on one quick second. Just double check something here. Thanks again. It's got to be something. I don't believe it's random. I don't believe he just met an unfortunate demise. I believe there's something far more sinister. My level of cynicism has reached an all-time high. I mean, just with things that happened today, to me personally, trust levels are at a low. They're just at a low. And when I see something like this, I'm just like, whoa. Anybody can be touched. Anybody can be touched. Are you serious? He was out at Subway? Well, I don't want to joke about that because that ain't like Jussie Smollett. We don't want to get another Juicy going. I mean, he obviously had everything to live for. He was financially set. Not to say that he was just coasting and didn't have to work anymore, whatever, but family, he's got kids, I believe, married. I just don't know exactly what the scenario could be other than somebody needed him out the way. Now, if I start hearing about some corporate mergers or anything happening around Cash App and the companies that he's affiliated with, then we're going to know something. We're going to know something. Absolutely. Anybody can get got. We're going to know something. Personally, for me, I just look at all this crypto stuff that's been happening, all this bank craziness that's been happening, and I don't think it's going to be the last one. I don't think it's going to be the last one. I think there's going to be some other people. We've already seen some people drop off from some crypto situations and all that. I believe there's going to be more. I believe there's absolutely going to be more. Yeah. Another plea deal. They shouldn't have gave him no plea deal. Should have made him do time. All the money he wasted in Chicago looking for 2 MAGA supporters. And now the Nigerians, they doing a tour. They're doing a whole tour telling their story, making their bread. It's crazy about that. I'm like, dude, all you wanted was more money on your contract. And it didn't make no sense because the show was ending anyway. But he probably didn't see any more prospects coming. He was just trying to stack his bread, and then it just didn't make any sense. That's why celebrity is just, they're so shallow. They're so shallow. This guy wanted more money. Instead of him going out and hustling a little bit more, he gonna try to scare them. He gonna try to sympathy them into paying him more money. It's a bad look. And I never saw the LGBTQIAP come out in force talking about that situation. They should have came out and denounced him. And everybody that was up there caping for him, Robin Roberts, and all the people on TV, everything, they all should have been let go. Because they were trying to make everybody feel bad for not believing his story. Black folks knew it was a lie. Real black folks knew it was a lie. You know, real black folks knew he was lying from the get-go. But it was them Plato folks. Them Plato folks, they acted like, oh no. And when he played up the whole MAGA thing, I was like, yeah, I see where this is going. I see where the part of town that he's in probably ain't 10 Republican voters in that area. But they would just happen to be walking around on the coldest night in Chicago with MAGA hats on and a noose and bleach, and zip ties, just hanging out. Got it. Yeah. There's something deeper. There's something really deep that's happening out here. This financial industry, these guys are in such volatile situations. They ain't just moving thousands of dollars. They're not just moving millions of dollars. They're moving billions of dollars. And one wrong turn for some could ruin them and then could make someone else a billionaire. It's happening every day, whether we talk about it or not. Yeah. For real? The money, see, you got to understand, this can go all the way back to when the slave holders had to give up the slaves. and how upset they got because they were no longer going to be able to utilize humans for free to make their money. And they knew that enslaved individuals were better than currency. They were better than currency. People didn't care about no dollars. If they had human cargo back then, it was worth more than the dollar. It was worth more than the dollar. There he goes. They will get you out the paint one way or another. Yeah, I hope they make a movie about it. It would have to be a great little mini series. I want to see the whole before, leading up to it, going through the whole situation, and then him walking out of court talking about, I am not guilty. That's got to be at least a 3-part series. I want to see all those nooks and crannies in between it. The Juicy Show was crazy for a couple years there. Yeah. You knew Gaddafi was going to get out the paint once he didn't bow down. Once he didn't bow down, it was curtains on Gaddafi. Sure was. It sure was. So, rest in power to this man. Hope nothing weird comes out about him to where I got to take that back. I don't believe he deserved to die. Whatever he did, it just doesn't seem like he out here to where, you know, I think it was business. I think it was business and somebody got him out the paint. I think it was business. What else is business is this. This is getting grim. McDonald's temporarily shuts down U.S. offices as they prepare for massive corporate layoffs. Corporate, y'all. They laying off at the corporate offices. McDonald's, the franchise that started it all. Everybody followed McDonald's. There ain't nobody bigger than McDonald's. And McDonald's is shutting down corporate offices, y'all. You don't think it's bad out here? I mean, I've been talking about food deserts. I've been talking about just flat out 3-card money in these grocery stores. They putting products over here and products over there. You can go to 2 to 3 different aisles sometimes, see the same stuff because they didn't got enough products. They just spread it out. And now look at what McDonald's is doing. They're closing corporate offices. The trickle down is going to be deadly. We're already seeing restaurants close in all of our communities. Over 400 jobs were lost in the city of Detroit when 20 some odd Burger Kings closed instantly. Over 400 jobs, bam. Over 400 families affected, bam. Just like that. It's happening all over the country. People just ain't talking about it. It's not fashionable to talk about. It's not fashionable to put people up on stuff. Some people just want to talk about the games and the concerts, you know. And I'm not here for doom and gloom. I'm here to put you up on game. Game, recognize game. And I also recognize lames. Exactly. Mississippi State hated when blacks were emancipated. This is why they didn't ratify the 13th Amendment. It took the Union. Yes. People don't understand. Things like this are just repeating themselves. the go along to get along faction is really not that big. You got people who are out here who are still renegades, who are still rebels, but they figure out a way to get you out of it. $19.95 or 96. That is crazy. Oh, yeah. I see the play. I've already showed y'all the McDrive-through, the McCarry-out, automated. They pulling humans off of everything right now except the grill. They ain't figured out the robot yet that can actually make the burgers and shake the fries, but they taking them out to paint to where they're not going to be serving you your food in the drive-through or in the carry-outs. They'll still have humans moving it until they figure out how to fully automate a McDonald's. And then everybody else will fall in and follow suit. It's happening so quickly. And this is where I'm trying to tell people, yeah, we worrying about the prices going up, but the prices are going up on even things that aren't even in existence. Some people are having to back order groceries in certain parts of this country. They're having to order food because they can't get the stuff locally or drive for hours to get food. This is nuts. That's why people got to stop playing, and we got to start talking about repair more and more. If we're not, they can just keep on giving everything to everybody else. If you're not talking about your stuff on your local end and you're only thinking about that presidential election every 4 years, you losing. You better get out here and talk to your local politicians and make sure they are working for you. They ask you to work for them and go vote. You make sure they're working for you. I know something that's not working for me, and I'm gonna get up out of here after this, because this right here just it bothers me. It bothers me to the point of, when I see stuff like this, and I'm like, I don't want my kids, when my kids are grown, my grandkids listening to things like this. It just really, really affects my psyche. It affects my psyche to see stuff like this and to know that kids are going to emulate things like this. It hurts me. These are dark days. Now, I just learned who this boy is in the back, holding these women's weaves like he's holding dog leashes. NLE Chopper, I guess is his name, NLE Chopper. And he's walking them like he's walking two dogs. And it's for a song called Slut 'Em Out. And they have, there's a culture. There's a slut 'em out culture, slut me out culture. And I don't like it. And I know I feel a certain way about a lot of these things because biologically I had girls, and I've mostly been around girls, raising girls, having only one blended son, and I have two grandsons. This type of thing is something, and I don't care what I've done out here in the streets with women, I never looked at myself as somebody that could do that. And I would have never wanted somebody to do that to my child. These young women have mothers and fathers. I would think that NLE Chopper has a mother and a father, but I'm not here to condemn him. I'm not here to condemn him because I don't believe that they're doing this against their will at all. I don't believe that they are in any way position of being held captive here. I believe this is a willful action. So I don't blame them. Blame him. where does a young woman's self-esteem have to be to do this? And I know that they saying that they are, and it's a part of their act and a part of the culture, but what culture is this? I don't know if either one of these young women have children, and if they do they have girls? I don't care if it's acceptable or not with girls or boys. I don't think it is. How can you raise your kids and your kids know that you do this? Oh, they good with it. They good with it. This is not against, they are not being held captive. I think this is a video shoot. This is actually a video shoot, I guess. And when I saw it, I'm like, what is going on here? So I read the caption and I'm like, oh, okay. But this is a culture. This is a culture. Them and what's that gorilla? This is a whole culture. I mean, I put them all in that bag. Megan the Mayor, Cardi B, all of them. They're in that slut them out culture. And this is what they want to call black girl magic. This is who our politicians are going around saluting and lauding. You think Taylor Swift's representatives gonna let her get carted around by her ponytail? You think Adele's people gonna say, you know what would look good? You get down on all fours and let Rich Paul lead you around by your ponytail. Why is this a part of our culture? Why is this regarded as something that's positive? They're artists, actually, Free. They're artists. They're rappers too, from what I heard. Because I was like, I thought they were just video girls too. They're actual rap artists too. So they're all a part of the whole game. These are not just willing wenches in the video. These are not Corinne Steffens. These are not superheads. No, these women here make records too. Lack of parenting and culture have been, yes, absolutely. And I know people are going to jump on NLE Chopper if they're going to go that route, if they're going to say anything, but you can't blame him solely. These women are probably his age, if not older than he is. And I just don't understand the culture, because I don't see anyone else doing this but us. And what's the next play? Because you're only going to be able to do this for so long. So are you going to do something with this and turn your life around, get something else positive popping? Or are we just going to see another generation of slut 'em out culture? People that are not to be taken seriously do things like this. And they're not to be taken seriously. Not one bit. But I appreciate y'all being in here today. I think we've covered all my slides. I just want to reiterate from the beginning, this animal was caught. He was caught in the city of Detroit, butt ass naked, in a car. So he's behind bars now. And hopefully he's getting a good orientation with the brethren who's already inside, and they're just imagining him to have done something to one of their grandmothers, 80-year-old, 64-year-old victims that he just left outside. Hopefully he gets taken care of well. And then also this one is still loose. Ypsilanti police seek suspect linked to sexually assaulting child. He's got a tattoo on his left upper arm referencing God. It's always the devils who want to talk that God shit. Always the devils. What you say there, Free? Yeah, this is true. Yep. Yeah, he went and got a Latino to speak for Black Americans. And Maxine Water went and got Megan the Mayor to speak for Black Americans. Kamala spoke to Cardi B. Obama spoke to Jay-Z and Beyonce. They try to go get singers and dancers to speak for Black America when those singers and dancers don't even speak up for Black America. Put out a statement about the video. He said the females are on the ground. Ask him to do that shit for the video. There you go. There you go. He said the females on the ground, ask him to do that for the video. There you go. Like I said, I couldn't put all of the fault on him. I wasn't going to put it all on him. I felt as if they had just as much fault in this whole thing as he did. I felt they were just as much in the wrong as he was. Yeah. Yeah, I hope he gets some recreation before his court date, Brother Michael. Yeah. I remember. He could have said, you know what? No, I'm not doing that because I already know how that looks. I already know what that perception is. And if you call one of them a dog, then what it's about? He absolutely should have refused it. But see, he's all in that bag getting stage. He wants to get that bag. That's okay. We see what it is, and we see who's pulling it together. We just can't allow ourselves to be a part of the mess. We can't allow our kids to be a part of the mess. We got to keep it going on the positive tip. But yeah, this has been one of the more interesting weeks. That whole Jill Biden thing just really threw me through a loop. And I instantly thought of this. I instantly thought of this. Yeah. So he had a different steez at first. He was another way, and then he went all here. See, I don't know anything about his recording career. I know you do. You went to that. I just don't know. He's just one of those situations, or he's one of those people that it's not on my radar like that. You know, he's not on my radar like that. But if y'all get a chance, check out the drum major's instinct. Because when I look at individuals, hell, like Barack Obama, Jill Biden, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, hell, even newly indicted Donald Trump. They've all got that drum major instinct. They want to be out front. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. But when you think about it, what are they really saying to us? What are they really doing for us? Where do we go with people like that out front? They're not leaders. They're not leading. Okay. Yeah, I've never known, never followed his career, never heard a song he's sang, and I'm sure I'm going to keep it that way. But we got to stay on our mission, because that's all this is about. Uh-oh. I don't know exactly why my sound kicked off for a second there.
We are coming to get our check.
That's what I needed right there. So yeah, definitely check out the Drum Major's Instinct by Martin Luther King. Crazy speech. You can hear it on YouTube. Probably it's on, the other podcast channels, but I caught it on YouTube. And it's deep. When you listen to it, you'll think of 10 people right off the bat. And when I think of it, and I think of individuals, all I say is, they kicked off my audio again there. What is going on here? Maybe I've been on here too long. Been on here a little bit too long. So yeah, here we go.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
So I'm going to go on and get out of here. And y'all be good. What Obama did in inviting the assailant to the White House was tell us that he's not anchored in our American freedman legacy. Absolutely right. This was disrespectful for all of us. This was disrespect. Here's the thing. When I thought about what Jill Biden said, because I don't believe she would have did it had LSU been a predominantly white team. I don't believe she would have said either or bring both. She didn't say bring both last year in 22. Did she say bring both in 21? And I don't know if there was an actual champion in 20 because we was dealing with Corvid. But have they brought 2 women's teams because of Title IX in any year since she's been there? Why this year? Man, Brother Michael, don't get me hot. I'm trying to come down with it. I'm trying to come down with it. You about to get me hot up, and you about to get me thinking about this thing again. Yeah, that right there is a problem. She hasn't said anything about bringing the runner-up to the White House one bit. Men's, women's, nothing. Nothing. You wouldn't. That's the whole point. You wouldn't bring both. That's why I said it.
Why they gotta say it like short? You know they can't play on my court. Why they gotta say it like short? You know they can't play on my court.
And she's creating division. I don't believe Iowa is going to accept the invite. And Caitlin has already come out and says they absolutely should not be going to the White House because they did not win. So they should follow her lead. Everybody gets a trophy these days. Everybody gets a trophy these days.
Why they gotta say it like short? You know they can't play on my court.
That's the song that LSU should play when they walk into the White House.
Why they gotta say it like short? You know they can't play on my court.
That's what they should play when they walk into the White House. I'm telling you, I ain't for it. And I feel like it's going to bring a divide. It's already bringing a divide out here in the media. I feel like it's going to bring a divide, and it's going to bring up some stuff that doesn't really need to come up. And if we ain't going to come together, we dead anyway.
Why they gotta say it like short? You know they can't play on my court.
So looking at what we've been looking at, we need to look at something new. But salute to the LSU Tigers. Salute to the UConn Huskies. Salute Angel Reese, Jordan Hawkins, Cousins won national championships. That's a beautiful thing. They need to. Brother Black Seed, what's good with you? Long time no catch up. I'll have to give you a call so we can break bread, brother. I'm just in here doing my thing, winding it down. Had to drop something today. But where we at, y'all, we got to come together. If we don't, we gonna perish. I'm trying to tell you.
Together right now over me.
Y'all be good out here. And watch out for yourselves. Watch out for your families. My brother over there in San Francisco that lost his life, he spent his life making billions for other companies, making a comfortable life for his family, only to be taken out by a stab wound. It just wasn't something that needed to happen. I'm saying that it's not random. I'm thinking that it's intentional, and I'm thinking there's something more sinister behind him just being deleted. I'm trying to bring my drops in the right way now, bro. I told you I was going to get this one going. I'll be
Come together right now over me.
So that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. Let's keep these animals off the street. We got one captured in the village. Let's get this other asshole off the street by the weekend so people can feel safe out here. Real talk. Real talk. Y'all be good. I'll holler at y'all. Catch this playback if you was late. And anybody that does catch the playback and you made it all the way through, I appreciate you. You ain't got to be here for the live. Just be here.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
Why they gotta say life short?
Come together right now over me.
Why they gotta say life short? You know they can't play on my court.